Greetings, good morning, and welcome. The sun is rising, and the magpie is casting. Can meet you guys today with a live 1 versus 1 battle, featuring spawning in the south. It's gonna be the United States forces of Hama, WWU. And spawning in the north, it's gonna be the Overcommand West forces of IPLII CaptainSPrice. Yeah, CaptainSPrice actually busting out the Overcommand for a change here. Maybe he's just looking to get in a few last games before they change the faction beyond recognition. That's right, the December patch is going to be pretty big for Overcommand. The map today for this clash between these two is going to be Langriskai. I'm sure you're all very familiar with this map. Probably if you're not by now, you never will be. It's a pretty small map. Feels a little bit claustrophobic. Pretty open as well. Good use for machine guns on this right flank. These two buildings. Pretty good if you can get an MG team in there. Over here on the left we've got like a little village, and the victory points are, well, you know, pretty evenly spread down the middle line of the map. Yeah, we'll see what these two players can bring to the table. Of course, CaptainSPrice, quite a ferocious player, I would say. Pretty damn good. He plays all factions, that much I know. I'm not sure if I've ever seen him play Overcommand though, so I'm going to be watching with rapt attention because this is going to be pretty interesting. Overcommand, of course, probably being my most played faction. Maybe Brits, since the Brits came out, but I really like Overcommand. They'll always have a special place in my heart. These Storm Pioneers getting unlucky on not getting into that building, and that is going to see one of them gunned down by these riflemen, and then they're going to engage here. Oh dear, this is sadly looking like a situation which Price may have to fall back from, but he's actually going to trade some damage there, get into the heavy cover provided by this sort of, I don't know, early Soviet tractor-y thingy. What the devil is that? It is actually a tractor, isn't it? It's just a really old one. Of course, Russian agriculture in dire need of mechanization around about in the 1940s. Anyway, we've got here two squads of Volks off the bat. The battle group at HQ coming down in what I would say is pretty much the default location on this map. Many players prefer to deploy it here, and with good reason. It's far enough forward to be very useful. It's protected in some ways, shielded by this building, which you can also garrison to use defensively. So yeah, pretty useful spot, and it enables you to establish a pretty dominant presence in this area of the map, which enables you to, well, pretty much dominate the map, I say. He who holds this area usually holds the map on this one. So 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers, the build, from Price, 3 squads of Riflemen from Hama. So pretty standard stuff from both these players so far.
On the line.
Just taking a look around the field. Now, CaptainSPrice's main presence is focused around this battle group at HQ. No surprises there, that's fairly standard from Overcommand. But what it is doing is really limiting his field presence. If you look at the minimap, the American player is being able to chew up a lot of land in the west of the map, and even taking center with these riflemen. Of course, riflemen pretty strong throughout the game, but they're very strong round about now because, you know, when you're fighting mostly Volksgrenadiers, riflemen, they seem pretty dreamy. And I'm sort of amazed, actually, that CaptainSPrice doesn't go for a Kubelwagen. That could be doing some real work. Now, obviously, you know, he has his reasons for doing so, and I imagine being CaptainSPrice, they're pretty good reasons. But I myself like to mix in a Kubelwagen. It just helps suppress these blobs of riflemen. And the American forces don't have access to a counter quite so early in the way that the Soviet forces do, or indeed the British forces. British forces, of course, can build a universal carrier, which just chases your Kubelwagen away, and the Soviet forces can research the anti-tank grenade, or, you know, they can get a fairly early Zis gun, you know, all that kind of stuff. The Americans have to wait a little bit longer for all that, although there is now a star of veterancy above one of these rifleman squads, and that's going to mean that they're going to have access to the anti-vehicle grenades. American forces, you know, they do have anti-tank options, but they're just not as readily available, or I would say as strong at this stage in the game as the other allied factions. Certainly when it comes to dealing with a Kubelwagen, anyway. 2 riflemen here going to be just plinking away at these Volksgrenadiers. That's like mildly frustrating, but just got some damage done. No models killed there. And let me just crack the tack, seeing as how we have a moment of quiet here. So the map now pretty evenly split. Price has been able to secure the 2 victory points, 1 mid, 1 right. He's also got a fuel and munitions point and a smattering of other points. So resource-wise, I imagine the 2 teams nearly equal. Of course, the Overcommand resource penalty is going to make that look a little bit skewed. But they should be more or less even. Wow, getting really ballsy here. These rear echelons capturing this point here. This one can be a little bit difficult because if your opponent gets line of sight, and if they own this point, they'll have line of sight for like this little radius here. Then this little flat gun or machine gun nest can often fire onto this point and prevent you from getting it, which is really annoying. Anyway, Volksgrenadiers, sorry, Storm Pioneers, these guys are up to 1-star veterancy. They're going to chase away the rear echelons in the north. Here comes a Rifleman, though, and that ought to push them back. Although, I don't know, actually. Engaging in heavy cover versus no cover, these Riflemen really just need to hug into this cover here. They're nearly standing in it, but they're actually not quite there. Lieutenant is the tech of choice for the American players, so the BAR-equipped officer squad is on the field now. Look to see possibly a utility car. That's what I would call standard play these days from American forces. The utility car has been shining in recent times, and it's a funny thing because when the American forces first came out, everyone thought the utility car was a bit rubbish and that the armoured skirts upgrade was ludicrously overpriced at something like 70 munitions. But anyway, a 50 caliber machine gun is actually the weapon of choice here for Hama, and that actually makes good sense on this map. I quite like that. He's just chosen his commander as well. He's gone for the heavy cavalry company. That's going to enable his riflemen to start putting down mines, so that's the reason he's chosen this ability here. Mines in it here are placed in a fantastic position. The 50 cal is going to push up into mid, and this is starting to be some pressure now. Price is going to need an answer now. There's no live field gun on the field, so it's going to have to be just flanking with infantry and superior positioning right now. An incendiary grenade comes down to displace these riflemen, but they're just going to pick some cover further back, and these Volksgrenadiers are going to have to get out. Now let's see if Price has researched the forward fallback point. That has not happened yet. It would be largely pointless because the fallback distance to here is pretty much the same actually, so I can understand why he hasn't gone for that. This 50 caliber is actually getting a reasonable amount of work done, actually. Oh, a possible squad wipe going down on these Volksgrenadiers. They are being targeted by the rifleman, and he is going to get out of there. That was a close one. That could have been a game-changing moment there. A fighting position now being built in mid, and Hama is really mounting a pretty potent push here. The BAR-equipped lieutenant, 2 squads of riflemen supported by this 50 cal. It's all getting pretty intense, and what's even better is it's buying time behind this for the American player to fortify with that fighting position. So this is really nice. The equivalent, if you like, of trying to take your 3rd base whilst you push on a 2 base in StarCraft. Been playing a lot of StarCraft recently, so StarCraft analogies kind of rolling off the top of the head. Anyway, Rakettenwerfer here, preemptive Rakettenwerfer, that is ready to take care of this AA half-track, which is on the way, wisely not revealing itself yet, of course. Price smart enough to know that it's best to not let your opponent know that you have the the anti-tank piece until it's firing at their vehicles. A light field gun, that is finally here. It's having some issues. Yep, nope, there it is. It's finally going to make its way onto the field. So a light gun has arrived. Now Price is flat out of munitions, but sorry, manpower. But we'll see if he opts to get another field gun later. Now I'm going to rotate the camera because there's a fight in the background here as the lieutenant takes on a couple of squads of Volks. Also a fight here in the foreground. These Storm Pioneers are going to get a great flank. They're going to take out the 50 caliber squad. So that's a bit of a pickup there for Price. A lovely flank here. These mines here clearly are anti-vehicle mines or something, because I believe the Storm Pioneers just ran down here without setting anything off. And that's actually going to be a mass fallback from the American forces. The Rakettenwerfer gets in a great position. That's going to undo this fortification, and just like that, Price has gotten himself out from under what looked to be a pretty sticky situation. Now, here comes the follow-up. It's an AA half-track. Of course, Hama would have loved his fighting position and supporting squads with MG to be in position, but they're not. But that doesn't mean this half-track isn't going to be able to do some good work. The anti-infantry firepower is so fierce, and there are 2 very weak squads of Volksgrenadiers here who I fear for. They are in heavy cover, but I wonder if that's going to be enough. No, it looks like the AA half-track going to reposition rather than pressuring these Volks. I would like it to just park here, actually. Yeah, looks like that's what he's going to do. And this surely is going to force the fallback. Price is inviting disaster by sticking around. The squad wiping power of this thing, of this AA half-track is massive. Now, I don't know that... Oh, okay, I see. So he repositioned around here to dodge possible shots from a Rakettenwerfer coming from the north there, which I guess does make sense, but it does mean that he has actually conceded control of this victory point. Of course, if he was just taking shots from here, he probably would have forced the fallback from these 2 Volksgrenadier squads sooner, and therefore this point would be neutral. The upshot of that, fairly minimal at this stage in the game. The scoreline's near enough identical. I mean, yeah, you know, there's like a 15-ticket difference, but I mean, there's nothing to write home about. So I imagine Hama not that fussed about letting that victory point fall at this stage in the game. Here come the American infantry. They're all reinforced, ready to go. There's a 3/4-ton ambulance here at the back, which has been reinforcing and healing them, or well, really just healing them, I suppose. Reinforcing is really the base that's doing that, but anyway. And let's see. So likewise, reinforcing all of his units here is Price. So Price is, what is he? Okay, so the forward fallback point has been researched. That's what the 300 munitions was spent on just recently. Is this the Luftwaffe ground forces? Oh, he actually, yes, Price, yes. Price has the elite armored doctrine available to pick from. Good man, good man. This is actually the lineup of commanders that I've been running with recently, and they're really good fun. The elite armored doctrine is basically a terrible commander, unless you get to the pretty late game and you haven't picked a commander, in which case he's kind of okay because he gives your tanks the heat rounds and he allows you to call in the Storm Tiger. And you know, say what you like about the Storm Tiger. Yeah, it's a little bit gimmicky. No, it's not very reliable, and it's, you know, it's a bit of a weird unit. But I quite like it. I wouldn't say I'm good with it, but I've just figured out how to get the job done with it, I suppose, which is really all you can ask from something like that. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with the Storm Tiger, and it can just be a little bit unsettling for the allied player. It sort of messes up the late game quite a lot. Having a vehicle on the field which can just fire a pretty long-range rocket which can blow up just about anything in one hit, or certainly cripple anything in one hit, is just kind of messes up the late game. There are a lot of circumstances where your opponent really ought to just be able to sit on their heels and win the game, and the Storm Tiger can really get in the way of that. So I like the Storm Tiger. It's nice to have it as an option as you move forward. The other two commanders, Scavenge, well, he's just a really good all-rounder, probably the best all-rounder, the best generalist for the Overcommand forces. Now, this 50 cal has been remanned, or I guess it's been remanned. I don't think this is a new one. Anyway, but it's covering the victory point, which is going to make life really annoying for these Volksgrenadiers. Here you go. It's not actually firing. I wonder why that would be. Line of sight issues going on somewhere. AA half-track's going to open fire though, and that suppresses pretty effectively as well. Now the 50 cal opens up, and these Volksgrenadiers are going to get pinned very quickly. Light gun gets a very good hit on the AA half-track though. Doesn't do too much damage, but that's going to vet it up nicely. Oh, look what we got on the production tab. Yes, Price. Yes, Schwerer Panzer HQ is for scrubs. Price, like a pro, going for the Jagdpanzer 4, has plenty. He clearly respects the capabilities of the Jagdpanzer, and this is a great map for a Jagdpanzer. It's great. The reason being, you can just park it here, and it has range of this entire middle area if you do that. So with some savvy micro, you can really make it do well. And of course, once it gets to 1-star veterancy, you have the option to turn it invisible, and then things start getting pretty heinous. And if everything goes south, you just have to reverse it into the base, which is a pretty easy escape, to be honest. Yep, loving the choice there. 2-star Storm Pioneers, of course, they're pretty high damage output. They're a 2-star, they get improved weapon control and accuracy, all that kind of stuff. So they're going to do some good damage. The AA half-track here, they're gonna see them off, you've got to think. There's the main cannon firing now. I'm amazed that these Storm Pioneers, there we go, he's going to fall them back just now. This Lieutenant squad is... Whoa, the Rakettenwerfer doesn't want to advance any closer to this Lieutenant. It'll get detected and then probably gunned down. The Jagdpanzer arrives, and it's going to make itself scarce. Panzergrau, the camo of choice for CaptainSPrice. It's going to hide away at the back there. Now, 50 cal gets set up in another very nice position, catching a lot of Overcommand troops in its arc. There's a lot of suppression being dealt here. The light gun is going to scurry away. The AA half-track advances. Now let's see if the Jagdpanzer decides to come in and poke at it. He's got it set to prioritize vehicles, which I would expect a player of his caliber to do so. Whoa, the light gun needs to be reinforcing. I'm amazed that he's not doing that, actually. A good hit from the Jagdpanzer, which is probably going to see fit to chase, and the rate of fire on the Jagdpanzer is decent enough, and yep, there's the finishing blow. A couple of Zooks going to come in, but the Jagdpanzer's a sturdy beast, and it'll be able to shrug that off and get out of here. Good screen of Volks coming in. Now, where's the 50 cal? Here it is. It's gone deployed in a fantastic position. Hama looking to push the advantage here, but it's going to be forced back, actually. Weight of fire from the Volks kicking in just before suppression could do, or rather, you know, the DPS off the Volks took effect just before the suppression could kick in. Let's phrase it that way. So CaptainSPrice, again, able to defuse a pretty nasty situation and inflict, he managed to kill at least one squad of riflemen there. Was it 2? I'm not sure. Yeah, Price just getting the job done. Let's see if he pushes forward and tries to get a salvage down on this wreckage. He may sense that he's got a window of opportunity here, whilst most of the American forces are reinforcing. And yep, the salvage is coming down. A cheeky salvage. Always a fan of a cheeky salvage. 5 more fuel in the tank, in the bank. Always helps Overcommand West to go and spank. And so let me see, we've got some sandbags being constructed in a decent position, and Price making a land grab across the board, splitting a squad off to the north, which is definitely worthwhile. Now the 50 caliber is going to come back out. This thing nearly got a star of veterancy despite having no kills. There it is, just chunking away at these Volksgrenadiers. Now the capture is done here, so expect to see the Volksgrenadiers fall back. Now we've got a pack howitzer on the field. That's going to start trying to fight the Ligs, I would imagine. Sorry, the Ligs singular. Here it is, and that may force the Lig to reposition. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. The Jagdpanzer hasn't been repaired, which, you know, that's fair enough. Price obviously making the decision to keep his Storm Pioneers on the front as a frontline infantry unit rather than rather than try and just take them off for a second to repair. But I think he could repair that. It wouldn't take long, and I always feel better if my vehicle units, especially things like Jagdpanzers, are on full health. So anyway, these Volksgrenadiers actually doing a reasonable job at this kind of range against the Lieutenant. The Tommy gun and the BAR on that squad kind of doing some work, but a double fallback is going to come down as both the squads there exhaust one another, and the American forces they have taken mid. Sorry, during whilst that scuffle was going on. But here comes a reasonable flank from CaptainSPrice. He's going to try and get round to the 50 cal. No, not yet. No. Oh, there we go. He's going to cram his forces in here. A captain has now arrived, so the American player now has both lieutenant and captain tech online. These Volksgrenadiers going to take a trip through their own incendiary grenade. The Storm Pioneers wisely putting away the metal detector right now. An incendiary comes down onto the 50 cal. That's going to displace it. Now at 1 star is the machine gun team. Pack Howitzer sat back here, doing pretty good damage. Let's see if Price is going to opt to push it. I don't think he will. It's very close to the American base, but he is going to stay for just long enough to decap these points. Savvy play here from Price. He knows that if he just slows his opponent down by decapping these points, it'll just slow his opponent down, so that's pretty cool. The scorelines, again, still pretty even, to be honest. I mean, only 23 points in it right now. Hama and the Allied forces do have the lead, but again, as I say, not by much. And Price needs to capture this point, actually. Oh, I see. He's tasked some Volksgrenadiers to do so, but they're getting suppressed the hell out of by the pack gun. Sorry, the pack howitzer. So, moving back out now. Now let's take a look at the fuel. Yeah, he's floating like 200 fuel. I was going to say, is the Major coming on the production queue yet? No, not yet. I would like to see the Major come out, really, for Hama. He's floating so much fuel. I don't know. I mean, he could try and get to 13 command points on just the captain and the lieutenant. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Actually, that does sound better, I suppose. But the Major gives you a lot of nice options, particularly on this map, where you can literally put the Major like here, and he will lock down this command point. It is super annoying, and it's a really good thing that you can do with American forces on this map. And so, yeah, it seems like a savvy choice. However, he may just want to avoid getting the Major just to make sure he gets his Pershing at the earliest possible opportunity. CaptainSPrice still hasn't chosen a commander, so we'll look to see if he does so. Stormtrooper's going to get a pretty good angle to engage these rear echelon troops. 2-star Storm Pioneers at that kind of range, not going to take any prisoners. Hama's going to respect that, fall them back. We've got some American forces breaking up and pushing up into the north. There is still a squad of Volks just kind of being annoying. They're building some sandbags right now, but they're going to get interrupted. Here we go. Now let's see if Price is cognizant of this. Okay, he's going to finish the sandbags. Let's see, gets the troops behind them, and is going to take the fight. So, do we have grenade package researched here for the American? No grenade package. Wow, I feel like he should definitely research the grenade package. Hardly costs any fuel. That won't slow down his Pershing. So I would really like to see him research the grenade package. The Jagdpanzer has been repaired, just checking on it there. And these Volksgrenadiers, as you might expect, going to get forced back by the 2 American squads. Light gun's in a decent position. Is it trading with the pack? Not quite yet, but we might see an artillery war begin there shortly. So, marshalling both the middle of the map and the north is Hama. Price is going to have to make a move, try and stop this from happening. The Schwerer HQ has come up, and he's at about 70 fuel right now. So we could see a Panzer IV reasonably soon, or a Panther later on, or he might decide to try and establish his Mechanized Regiment HQ. A lucky shot from the pack howitzer there, going to completely massacre the light crew. That's annoying for Price. But he's coming in with a decent concave of troops here. Nice line. Let me see if I can just change move the camera so I can so you can see this entire offensive as it unfolds. Now, oh my goodness, this pack howitzer is doing such work. 8 kills, 1 star of veterancy on the indirect fire piece. And let's see if these Storm Pioneers are going to try and break through the line. No, they are in the arc, so I doubt that they're going to break cover at this point. Here comes an incendiary grenade, though. That's cheeky. The 50 cal machine gun is going to use sprint to get out of there. Oh, that's good stuff. Nicely done. I believe sprint costs about like 10 munitions or something. Yeah. So, good use of the ability there. Not often that ability is seen. Storm Pioneers are going to break through and try and get some damage done, which they are, and trading 1 Storm Pioneer for that kind of damage and a Star of Veterancy seems totally justified, and the elite engineers are now going to fall back. The mines in this position have been set off by something. I didn't actually see what happened there. Possibly some kind of explosive damage set them off or something, but in any case, Hama is going to replace those. There we go, this Rifleman squad. Going to set down some additional mines in that location. This Volksgrenadier squad needs to fall back. Whoa! Hang on, I say that. They're going to throw down an incendiary and force a double fallback. So, wow, Price sort of trading above his weight in that fight there. captain squad here for the Americans. That's going to get pushed right on up. And things looking a little bleak for Price. The score gap in there at the moment is, wow, only 13 tickets though. As I have a sip on my drink. So, not too bad actually, not too bad. He's he actually hardly behind at all, so doesn't have to worry too much. And I really feel like this victory point is kind of in the pocket. The American forces nowhere near being able to mount an assault there. Not yet anyway. So I'm going to change the camera angle here so you can just see the forces in the background just moving out and trying to cap. Now, Price is organising his Volks, 5 squads of those by the way now, into a line. Pack howitzer rounds are doing work though, pinning, suppressing, dealing massive amounts of damage. Man, I think pretty much I believe everybody cannot wait for Relic to get rid of the stupid suppression that the light gun and the pack howitzer do. It just, to begin with, I thought it was a great idea. Having lived with it for a while now, it just makes infantry fights feel really sticky and random. If those shells land in the middle of a squad, they just insta-pin the squad, and that can turn an entire fight. And it's just such a roll of the dice. It feels very, I don't know, just doesn't feel very professional in an RTS somehow. Anyway, an infantry squad unit there for the American forces getting wiped out. I'm afraid I didn't actually catch which one that was, but I heard the announcer, announce it. Let's switch to the German announcer for a while. Ooh, this lieutenant getting great damage. No squad wipe coming on those Volksgrenadiers, but that was kind of close. And there's just kind of fighting going on across the map. There's also a scuffle up here in the north, which I'll try to cover. These Storm Pioneers getting work done on the captain. The captain needs to fall back, actually. Actually, I say that. 2 bazooka hits to the Storm Pioneers, kind of killing 2 more members there. And the Pershing's on the field. Now the Jagdpanzer are more than happy to take this fight. And that's a miss from both forces there. White phosphorus rounds coming down in this location. Is that just one? Oh, that must have been fired from the Pershing. Does that fire white phosphorus rounds? No. Oh, that'll be from the pack howitzer doing the white phosphorus barrage. So pretty fierce stuff there. Pershing, wow, look at the range on this beast. It's just engaging the Schwerer Panzer HQ at this range. Here comes the Jagdpanzer. I'd love to see the Rakettenwerfer just come across here, heal, and then push to maybe behind this well where it can do some work. Bang! The Jagdpanzer is going to do some work, but there's an M1 AT gun, and this is really precarious times. Really precarious times. That'll be a dead Jagdpanzer. There was actually 2 AT guns, wasn't there? Was there 2 AT guns? No, just the M1 fires that quickly. Uh-oh, and Price in trouble. The 135 fuel tank destroyer has been lost for basically no work. It killed an AA half-track, that was valid, but other than that, it hasn't really done a lot. Now there are no Panzerschrecks on these Volks, no Panzerschrecks whatsoever. Captain Price not a believer in the Panzerschreck, and you got to feel like his insurance policy against vehicles was that Jagdpanzer, and now that that's been rendered void, Price is in a bit of a situation. He's got this Rakettenwerfer, but there's only 2 men on it. Actually, that stands to get wiped, like an unlucky pack howitzer round or something could just do for that. And the Schwerer Panzer HQ doing work right now. That is actual money at the moment. That's probably the only reason he's not being totally overrun. Pardon me. And wow, the pack howitzer is putting down phosphorus in a really good position as well. This Pershing could probably be set to deprioritize vehicles now, seeing as how Price's only vehicle has been destroyed. Now I know that Hama doesn't know that, but what he does know is that all he's engaging right now is infantry targets, and having an extra machine gun plus the pretty beefy cannon on the Pershing hooning into the fight is not to be ignored. So anyway, pack howitzer here. Ooh, kind of exposed actually. Oh, these Volksgrenadiers going to get the job done. Smoke is going to be used, but I really feel like that's just going to protect the Volksgrenadiers rather than save the pack. Oh, yeah, there we go. And he's going to push through and try and get the AT gun as well. And he just might get it. Oh, having said that, though, 2 squads of Volks get pushed down super low, and 1 squad is squad wiped. The Pershing's firepower really being felt there, and Panzerschrecks beginning to appear on the Volks. Some more damage has been done to this Pershing, but it's got 12 kills, it's at 1 star, and it's in no danger of dying as it falls right on back into the American base. So that's going to get repaired. That'll be out the fight for a short while, but not for that long. Now, Price needs to reinforce this light gun, I think. He also really needs to reinforce the Rakettenwerfer. This is like, he's pretty much his only anti-tank right now. I mean, yeah, I know he's got 1 Panzerschreck on a Volk squad, but like this represents the majority of his anti-tank, and it's not exactly in tip-top condition. Now, it looks to me like Price is going to try and pull out a Panther. Actually, wait, he has actually constructed his regimental, his mechanized regiment HQ, and that is set to fuel conversion right now, so he could be saving for a King Tiger. I think the smart choice is a Panther, and I think Price is going to agree with me. The reason I say this is because the Panther is actually a much better choice when anti-armor is your only concern. It's faster. It's, I would say, in a way better protected. Maneuverability is protection in a way, and its armor is nearly as good as the King Tiger. We'll see, though. We'll see. He might opt to go for the big tank. He might know something I don't. And to be honest, actually, this is quite a good map for the King Tiger. Not a lot of travel distance to be done on this map, so its speed is actually, its incredibly slow speed is mitigated to a fairly decent extent by the fact that mostly you'll just be trundling it from, like, here when you're being super aggressive, here when you're on the attack, here when you're defending, and here when it needs repairing, which actually, that's not that far to transition the tank, you know. So we'll see if that's going to be the choice. He's 5 fuel away from getting a Panther. In fact, you know what? He doesn't really have the manpower. He's going to need to save pretty hard to get the manpower together here. A Panther tank, I believe, is what, 540? This is a test for me. 490. Damn it. I should know that. The amount of Panthers I've built over the years. Anyway, here comes a spread of American infantry. The rear echelon troops being used now really as the frontline squads rather than the rifleman squads. BARs across these squads. So I believe is it 2 BARs a squad? Not sure. No, it's just 1 BAR per squad at the moment. Of course, I'd love to see this ability used, combined arms. So it buffs your infantry if they're standing near tanks, and it buffs your tanks if they're standing near infantry. That's my understanding of this ability. So I'd quite like to see that used, really. Never seen it. 125 munitions says it probably ought to be quite spicy. Anyway, this Pershing not being used to leverage quite the advantage I thought it might. A possible Shrek round going to hit the rear armour here as well, that's a shame. Bing! Oof! A deflection there, hardly doing any damage. That Pershing getting lucky there. Boom! Man, you know what, the cannon on the Pershing, I've not really seen it against infantry that much, but it's pretty good. Oh my goodness, that should have been a fallback. 2-man Volk squad there with a Shrek getting vaporized. Oh no, the Storm Pioneers are going to get destroyed as well. They're at 4 stars. Oh, they fall back, but there were some mines waiting. And now Price is at 31 supply, under 67, and this might be too much for him. He is saving for the King Tiger, which I don't know, I mean, I'm skeptical about that. He could put this Raketwerfer in this heavy cover here, and it would be really nice, actually. Anyway, it looks like it might be able to get some hits on this Pershing. Is that Pershing in range? No, I think the range for the Raketwerfer ends just here. But yeah, you know how I said the American player is basically never going to be assaulting this victory point? Well, it's happening. And it's happening because Price has nothing left to contest the middle or the left-hand side of the map at all. So, oh dearie me, the pack howitzers are beginning to pour incendiary, the white phosphorus rounds onto the HQ, which means that falling back over command squads gonna be in for a world of pain. You can see the squads that have just fallen back just being reduced in health dramatically. This is just, this is hard to deal with. This is really hard to deal with. Hama piling the pressure on expertly. Blows up a squad of Volks Grenadiers, and Price cannot really afford to replace these squads at the moment because he's saving up for the big tank, which costs, like, I don't know, 720 manpower. So, oh my god, the Raketwerfer gets remanned, but instantly nuked by the Pershing. And the Pershing here is just doing the kind of things that a Tiger tank just isn't quite as good at, I don't think. Pushing from long range, the cannon on that Pershing looks pretty damn good. Now, what is that? Oh, that's the Schwerpanzer HQ chipping in some damage against these plucky riflemen who have decided to try and take the munitions point, and that they will. Now, Price needs 30 or so more fuel to afford the King Tiger. I believe it's 260. Let me just, yeah. So, at a rate of income of plus 15 per minute, you can work out there that he needs 2 more minutes. He needs to hold on for 2 minutes and somehow get the manpower together. He's down at 28 under 73 supply though now. The score difference has opened up a bit, almost 70 points between them now. And, oh no, oh dear, I think that this might be game sooner rather than later as Price loses some Storm Pioneers. And, oh my god, the Pershing is so good against infantry. I had no idea that that main cannon was this good against infantry. This makes the King Tiger's main cannon look kind of not that good. I mean, the King Tiger's main cannon just occasionally blows up a squad of infantry, but mostly it's not, like, consistently good. This Pershing, it seems like every shot at infantry is killing, like, 3-4 members. It's wiping out weapons teams, it's blowing up high veterancy squads of Volks with expensive equipment. Anyway, Price heroically fighting on with just 2 squads of 5-star Volks. I mean, desperate times. Rear echelons have managed to garrison this building right next to the Overcommand HQ. Price is going to come forward with this squad, but there are so many sources of suppression. The pack howitzer, the 50 caliber, just laying into him. And, I mean, this is. I mean, he's 1 minute. He's literally 1 minute away from a King Tiger, and I have to say, it's a real demonstration of character that he has not just conceded this game, because this looks utterly grim. And credit to Hama for manoeuvring the game into this situation where his opponent has been forced to take these awful fights. It's pretty sobering. I'm going to rotate the camera around so you can see from the defender's sort of perspective here. You know, they're desperately trying to hold this line, but the battle group at HQ ain't going to last much longer. The Schwerer Panzer HQ is going to be right behind it on the way to the graveyard, and things looking pretty glum right now. One more shot from this Pershing is going to be enough to do for the battle group at HQ, and you kind of get the point, you kind of get the feeling here that Hama knows that the game is in his grasp. He's extending with all of his units, pushing into the only pocket of overcommand resistance left on the map, which is of course now this position. If I crack the tack, you can see the weight of American forces concentrated right where it needs to be. I would quite like it if he just split off one squad up into the north just to start capping some ground, but that's a small point and probably irrelevant. So anyway, the King Tiger is now on the queue. So it's going to be King Tiger plus Volksgrenadier squad versus the world. So that's going to be a tall order. I love how Price is still trying to be active with his one squad. It's beautiful. I mean, on the plus side, you know, Price's manpower income is now pretty good, you know. When you've only got 5 supply, you can pull in the manpower at 291 a minute. So that's pretty good. I'll tell you what, because Overcommand actually start with a Storm Pioneer squad, that is better than Overcommand's starting rate of manpower income. How about that? So, yeah. But I just don't know. He's building another squad of Volks. I mean, he's got some time to play with here. He's got over 200 tickets, so you know he's not out of this game for the next minute or two. But things are looking pretty grim right now. Oh my goodness, the light gun has been garrisoned by the forces. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, the Pershing! I mean, even in heavy cover, it just snipes a man off. That was moving and at long range. This thing is a beast against 43 kills. Ugh. It's so gross. Let's watch the cool little reload animation. Here we go, bang, and then watch the hatch open, clink. There we go, a little smoking shell gets lobbed out. So cool, so cool. So yeah, the final overcommand building is now being threatened, and the Pershing's probably just going to take a dive into the base to finish off this 5-star squad here. A Rakettenwerfer now on the queue. Here comes the King Tiger. Da, 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 da. Let's see what it can get done. He's using the right camo. That's the right camo for a King Tiger. So here it comes. And there's a salvage going here. That's 5 free fuel. I'm just looking for the bright sides here. Oh no, there's a Jackson coming. As if the Pershing weren't enough. Oh, look at these hits from the M1AT gun. There's nothing that can be done here, Price. Surely not. Oh dear, look up. Oh, dearie me. Let's see what effect, if any, this King Tiger has on the game, shall we? At the moment, she's kind of getting poked down by all manner of AT guns and a Pershing, and it hasn't actually inflicted any damage on anything yet. The engine gets damaged. I think that was a rifle grenade from these riflemen, and yeah, this Pershing's just gonna. There's nothing here that the King Tiger can do against the Pershing. Oh, it finally gets a hit for damage. There we go. M1AT gun gets pushed up into good position. That's going to be able to attack ground, I would have thought. Oh, it's a miss there. Oh, it's a bounce off the armor there. The King Tiger just sat here trading. Wow, that front armor pretty spicy. And the 5-star Volk squad needs to fall back, and they will just in the nick of time. The King Tiger, let's call this line here the ropes, right up against the ropes right now. Needs one more good hit. It's on a pixel of health, and here comes the Jackson. That'll be happy to do the job. And there goes the big cat. And surely with that, Price's hopes in this game. Yeah, there we go. He's going to call it there. Captain Price putting up a good fight, but it wasn't good enough. And I think that all started going downhill when he lost his Jagdpanzer. Now, I think it was an unlucky loss on the Jagdpanzer. It came out to start poking the Pershing just when there was an M1AT gun in support. I mean, unlucky is one way of looking at it. A well put together line from Hama is another way of looking at it. So yeah, after that Jagdpanzer 4 went down, I mean, you can tell when he purchased that Jagdpanzer 4, that was intended to be a fairly long-lasting anti-armor solution. And to lose it in the blink of an eye, pretty much. I mean, it died in 2 shots from each, the Pershing and the M1AT gun. So that is like, you know, we're looking at probably about 6 seconds from full health to death there. Is a bit of a shock, and you can tell that he was basing his build around that unit. The timing at which he constructed it, the way he didn't put any Panzerschrecks on his Volks, the way he only had 1 Rakettenwerfer in addition to that for anti-tank. So yeah, to lose that kind of caused Price to come undone there, and Hama was able to push forward the advantage there to victory. So congratulations to Hama, a good game there, taking it in 33 minutes 36 seconds against Captain Price. No mean feat, and yes, I don't know if there's any deeper moral to be drawn about the Overcommand West forces and their state in the of balance in the game at the moment from this. Probably not. I mean, I think that the faction looked pretty good until that Jagdpanzer died. But I suppose actually, if there is a moral about Overcommand from this game, it's the fact that generally my rule of thumb for Overcommand is that you only get one armored unit, and if you lose your first armored unit, you pretty much die. In some games you'll manage to get 2, and in very odd games here and there you'll get like 3 or 4. But I mean, generally, if you lose your armoured units with Overcommand, because of the way their fuel income works, you don't get to replace them, and you'll only have the 1 or the 2 of them. So losing a Jagdpanzer, losing a Panther, even losing a Panzer IV, those are big moments in the game when you're playing as or against Overcommand. And yeah, as demonstrated in this game. And now you see, imagine he was playing as Wehrmacht or something, you know, he could have we would have seen a lot more armor out of Price there, and it wouldn't have been so cut and dried. You know, losing one of his armored pieces wouldn't have affected the game so much. So from that point of view, I do appreciate the fact that Relic are trying to change that, because as I've said before, I don't think having reduced resource income, whilst it is interesting tactically, I don't think it's a fun game mechanic to play with. So yeah, I guess I'm actually looking forward to the Overcommand reshuffle. Anyway, enough of my rambling. I will bring this cast to a conclusion. Thank you very much to everybody out there for watching. This is Magpie842 signing out.